A very good evening, everybody. This is Gulf Harbour Radio, ZMH286, Patricia and David tonight on this very, very flat, calm day here at Gulf Harbour. It's actually better now than it has been all day. Cloud-wise, we actually can see that there's a bit of blue sky up there, but it has been flat, calm all day, and it still is 16 degrees now. I don't think it got up very much. In fact, it might have gone up to 16 and a half, but it certainly didn't get much higher. 1028.8 and the old barometer's dropping. It got up to 1030. So, yeah, everyone seems to be doing well out there in the ocean. Nothing much from us tonight unless anybody wants any weather. Boats that have left are all on their way. I'll see if I can copy anybody that's checking in. So we've got Cheyenne, Bellina, Nespuck, and that's about it for the boats on passage. So we'll try with Bellina, Gulf Harbour. Oh, good copy, thanks. Benno, I'm just putting the AIS on to see you're really approaching Fiji now. You must be smelling the barn, in fact. So I'll just tell you what the AIS gives for you, and then you can tell me where you are, if it's any different. 1834 south and 17835 east. It looks like you've got plenty of wind. How are your conditions, over? Okay, that's pretty much what the GFS is saying now. It was different from what you reported this morning. So you've got 18 knots with a touch of south in it, but easterly, 18 easterly on a course of 290, 7 knots, 2 metres swell. But at least that's pushing you along a bit. Clear skies, which is not what they've got further to your east, I think. But anyway, 1017 on the bar. So all is well on board. So I'm sure, well, Marlene and you will be very pleased to get there in the morning, Nova. Yep, that's good. So all looks pretty much the same. Bit of wind going around the corner there by the look of it, but that's pretty normal, and I'm sure you're used to that. So, yep, have a very good last day of it all, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Over. Yeah, thank you very much. Talk to you tomorrow. No, it's always a bit difficult both ways when you're got lots of boats around you. So, yep, hope it all goes well with checking in. Okay, we'll clear with Benno. Hopefully I'm on net control in the morning, so I'll probably catch you then. So anyway, we'll clear with Bellina and see if we can find Cheyenne, Gulf Harbour. Oh, booming copy, Jim. It's always really good. And I see you've got a bit of wind according to this anyway. I've got you at 1857 south and 17913 west. Go ahead with everything else, over. Okay, that's pretty close. That's a few items off from my actual position. You give me enough looking at right. Let's see, I had beautifully clear skies yesterday, last night, lots of stars, and those little popcorn clouds going through, and most of today. Within the last 5 hours, I was close to the weather system, and I do want to ask David about that. So the storm was all and light rain, and it looks like it's pretty patchy. But as I did take on that, I downloaded a satellite image from the Hawaii Weather Facts
station midday today, and it was pretty clear, but it wasn't a great image from that midday noise. So I do have a question about that. But I'll give a little bit more info here. Presently, the wind is from the east, and it's blowing about 22 knots. I've seen it ranging from about 16 to 18 for much of the afternoon, but windier this morning, and windier now with this little band of clouds going through. And I'm presently on a course of about 350 degrees true. And then about 10 miles or so, as I go between a couple of islands, I'm going to bear off about another 5 or 10 degrees. And that'll point me right at the bar. And I have, at this time, 144 nautical miles to go. I'll copy all that over.
Yep, I've got you 144, just writing that down, miles to go. I'll just repeat it for David, what your position is. 1856 and 17913 west. And, yep, easterly 22, and you're on a course of 350 true, but you'll renegotiate shortly when I see there's a bit of hard stuff coming up ahead of you. So, yep, that's interesting. 25, well, it's pretty close. The GFS, which I look at, because it comes up with the AIS, has got 25 knots, so that's not too bad, is it? So I'll just see what David has to say for the next day to get into Sabu Sabu.
What was the question?
Just what it's going to be like. Jim?
Yeah, Jim, you said you had a question about the satellite imagery, I think. Come again with that? Over?
Yeah, roger that. Let me just give a minor correction for position. My actual position is 18 degrees, 47 minutes south, 179 degrees, 18 minutes west. But that's just a handful of miles differently than the AIS. And yeah, have a question, a comment, maybe a suggestion on satellite imagery. It's pretty hard to get out here these days, and I've been really lobbying Predict Wind to make high resolution localized satellite imagery into a selection box and select just your area as part of their package. So far, I've not succeeded in encouraging them to do so, but I'd sure like to encourage other sailors to do that because it really makes a big difference in what you can expect locally. So I downloaded the Predict Wind satellite imagery, and that's the whole Pacific Basin, so it's much too coarse to be very useful locally. And then I got the weather maps from Hawaii, and that's more helpful, but still not as localized as it would be useful. So if you have better information on this band of clouds transiting through from the east to the west that I'm encountering now, I'd be all ears on that. Over.
Yes, it's getting cloud from the east
Yeah,
to the
well, we're
west.
using the Himawari, the IR version of it. We could go to the visible, which would give a little bit more detail. By the way, Fiji Met is putting out satellite imagery now as well. When you go to their forecast, their marine forecast, that's part of it. And that's in black and white, quite a bit of detail. So that's what we call VIS. But the IR with the Himawari, yes, it's got that cloud quite clearly where you are, and it's a trough. And I think Fiji Met is picking up the
He
trough.
wants to know what's coming.
And I would say that trough is probably going to hang around there for a few days. Now, Fiji Met has got a strong wind warning in force for all waters. So they're talking about today and tomorrow southeast winds 20 to 25 knots. And their further outlook, which would be another day, is virtually the same thing, southeast 20 to 25. Now, that particular trough is probably going to move off, but we've got another band that's just to the west of Viti Levu, but sounds like you'll be in Cebu.
Yeah.
You'll be in Cebu before that band, which is actually a cold front, that particular one. But yeah, as far as getting satellite imagery, I'm not sure. I'll have to ask Patricia here. I'll pass it back to her. But I know Max on Y2K was working on that actually, but that was through WinLink, I think. I'm not sure.
Well, he get WinLink.
Yeah. I'll pass it over to Tricia, see if she remembers what Max has done.
Yeah, I have to check with him because I know it worked for a while and then there was some problem with it. So I will check with Max. He's on the other side of Fiji at the moment. But yes, he had worked out how to get it, Jim. And you're right. When we were cruising, we actually had the Sky Eye to get satellite pictures because you end up in many places where you're not getting very much, and we would get all the stuff from Hawaii, like you said. And it was useful, but we were getting the actuals from that, and it was extremely useful to know what was going to come your way. So yeah, I'll check with Max. If you could send me an email so that I can get it to you, because it probably won't be a reply until you're in Fiji, and you won't be checking in probably. So if you could send me an email, and then I'll have your email address to let you know. Over.
Okay, roger that. I'd be happy to do that. I know with WinLink, and I do have a WinLink account, that many of the WeatherFact satellite images they have as part of the SailDoc catalog, but they're also compressed and pretty pixelated. And again, they tend to be a much larger area if you're trying to focus on a smaller area and high resolution. And so that's why I was really hoping Predict Wind would make that available. So I think we should also lobby Predict Wind. I did lobby WinLink to provide something similar to that a couple of years ago and never had any progress on it. So if they have experimented with something, I'd be really interested in that. So I'll follow up and I'll send you an email. And I'm not sure if I'll make landfall tomorrow. I think I can arrive very late in the day, and given the more elaborate check-in procedure these days, I will probably end up slowing down and going in the next morning so I can go through the check-in process and the testing and everything and not burden the officials with late night check-in and not burden myself with overtime fees. Over.
Yeah, roger that. Yeah, it's easier for everybody concerned to do it the following day. And then you've got all day for all of the copious documentations that I hear are necessary these days. It makes you wonder what on earth we've got computers for when they still have miles of paperwork to go. All right, hang on, David wants something more.
Well, to offer something more, well, you folk on Passage, if in fact you are interested in satellite imagery over your area, that's what we're here for. I'm pulling this in. There's so many different sources for the imagery itself, but I go to my favorite ones. But yeah, those of you who want this info, we have it. And generally, if it looks like it's quite active, the image, in other words, if it's an active cold front or something like that, usually I'll say something anyway, just to alert people, especially ones, as an example, in Minerva or in Norfolk or around the Kermidex or whatever. If they're worried about it, then I could pull that up very, very easily. So, okay, that's it for me. There's the chief.
Yeah, and when for the folks that might be listening and you are in Fiji with good internet, I love that zoom.earth site, which gives you the satellite picture, but you can also elect to put on the GFS wind barbs, and it's actually fascinating. I keep threatening to put it on TV because we don't actually use the TV for a TV, and we'll put it on and watch it all changing during the day. It would be quite fun. So, all right, Jim, have a good night, and sounds like we'll talk to you again tomorrow. Over.
Yeah, roger that. Thank you so much for that. I was just opening my book on WeatherFact broadcast schedules, and I haven't got to it yet, but can David let me know, is the Fiji Met broadcasting those satellite images as a weathercast, or do you need internet access directly to access that? Over.
Which question?
No, I'm just talking to him. The question was, Do you need internet access for the Fiji one, or is it, can you get it? Yeah, he thinks it's internet access. We'll do a bit of sussing around to see how you can get things, Jim. Okay, yeah, it's the fact that we're not out there, we sort of get a bit behind with what is available on the old Packdoor, and if people have got iridiums and things, what they can do. I'm way behind on that. Okay, we'll just see if Nez clear with Cheyenne, and see if Nezpak, Thomas, are you on frequency?
Hello, good evening to Gulf Harbour Radio. This is sailing vessel Nesbok. So we are on the way to Newcastle, and the position at the moment is 38 degrees, 7 minutes south, and 173 degrees, 29 minutes east. The wind blows with 35, 36 knots from east to northeast, and the temperature here at the moment 20 degrees. Back to you, President.
Yeah, well, that's interesting because it's the same this morning. The GFS has got you having northeast winds, and you have got 35 knots from the east to southeast, which is rather different from what they're saying. They've certainly got, well, they've got 20 knots actually from the northeast, so that's a pretty big difference to get 35 from the east to southeast. 28107 south, 17329 east. So what's your course and speed, Thomas? I guess you're pretty reefed, over?
Yeah, the speed is between 5.5 and 6.5 knots, and the direction is 316 degrees. 316 degrees. Back to you.
Okay, so I'm just having a look here. So you're 316, I guess that's magnetic. Okay, all right, well, to see what David's got ahead, it looks from my perspective here as if it's going to be fairly strong all night. I'll just pass the microphone to him.
What's the
Going to
position?
Newcastle, it's 28 and 173.
2-8.
Yes, 28. He's really done quite well.
He talked to 171.
173 east. You've got the microphone. Yes, you forgot to look up the passage to Newcastle. There's quite a few boats. There's an awful lot of boats down in the southern lagoon. You've got Maneva, a French boat, to your southwest, and even further away is a boat called Columbus, and then further behind is Mr. X. So there's quite a few, and then there's a couple of boats. Great Britain Songline, they're just approaching now, and Jacana of Melbourne, they've come from Australia. They're in lighter weather, coming from that direction, but they're basically a beam. We're quite ways away, but they are a beam of the island now. But yeah, it looks like it's fairly strong. I'll pass the microphone.
Well, unfortunately, you're going to be bumping into another frontal band as you get closer to New Caledonia. I'm just looking at the moment on Wednesday, scheduled day here, and wind is going to be more like north-northeast from what I can see. So you were 28. Let's see. But anyway, there are some areas where the winds are virtually nothing, and that is almost at the point where the convergence starts, just prior to it starting. And there is a little low, a little depression that's fired up, that's down at 28 and 172. I think that's pretty close to where you are.
Yeah, it's there. He's here.
Yeah, it's definitely a depression, but it's fairly weak. But it does have rotating winds, clockwise winds, and the gusts in that are up to 30 knots. And then looking at satellite imagery about where you are, you can see quite readily that band. It's broken. It's broken considerably, but where it's not broken, I can see very, very cold clouds, which means they're very high, and that means you can anticipate squalls virtually at any time. So, yeah, I think you're going to be in for a bit of a bumpy ride. Over.
Yeah, thank you for the information, Mr.
Yes, you probably saw that before you departed, that was going to get a little bit difficult at about this stage for the next day or so. But anyway, stay safe, stay reefed, and one hand for you and one hand for the boat, as they say. So, all right, we'll talk to you in the morning. Hopefully you have a good night and stay safe, Thomas. Okay, we will clear with Nez Puck. Is there anybody else?
Gone with the wind. Gone with the wind.
Yeah, Gone with the Wind. It's 32-22. 32-22 was the question you asked. I couldn't remember what the New Zealanders ended up with, Liam. But so you're looking still to depart. Once all this mess passes through your lovely protected spot in Minerva, you'll be waiting for that to go through and then hoping to have a nice passage to New Caledonia. Over.
Exactly right. At the moment we've got 25 to 30. Yesterday we've got it all day today coming from the east. Hopefully we won't have it for much longer. Over.
Okay, I'll pass it to David to see how much longer. I think it looks like you're going to have to get used to it for another 24 hours, but I'll pass the microphone.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do some jiggling around here to see what the future holds, but you are directly underneath the cold front, and it's a fairly aggressive cold front, too, with a fair amount of rain, as you probably have found out. Now, I'm going to give it back to Patricia, and I'll see what it's going to look like at Minerva for the next day or so. Hang fire now.
Yes, as you can probably tell, everyone, we have given up doing a lot of work before we start because we never quite know who's going to be on, and it's sometimes you can spend a lot of time in an area and then nobody's there, so we wait until we get on air. And yes, it's it's the whole that area across from the bottom of New Cal right through Minerva, and it goes right the way east. It's not very pleasant at the moment. It's actually worse way further east at about 170, 170 west. Very strong winds there. So yes, it's just not all that pleasant out there. And I would say that people in the Thalanga area are not really enjoying placid weather either. But anyway, that's what we tend to get sometimes, especially when we have got these big anticyclones. So anyway, I shall pass the microphone and see what David's looking at.
Yeah, good old Minerva. Well, it's not fantastic news for tomorrow. I don't think it's going to be quite as windy as what you had today, but it's still going to be up there with gusts up to about 25. And they're going to back. I didn't catch your direction, but it looks like east-northeast.
East.
Okay, well, that's pretty close. Now, the good news is that as the days roll on, the winds are going to be a little bit lighter. So looking at, let's take a look at Wednesday. And from what I could see, Wednesday, maybe about 15 knots. That sounds pretty good. And that'll be out of the northeast. And then looking at Thursday.
They're on their way. They want to leave to New Caledonia on Wednesday, but it's okay.
Okay, well, anyway, just looking at Thursday anyway, which would also apply if you were heading toward New Caledonia, northeast winds, and they're about 10 knots. So, not bad. Now, another model claims easterlies, but just take it in the middle, and you'll be somewhere in there between east, northeast, and east. But light air as a few days go by. And what that next frontal band is going to do, I don't know yet, but I will look as soon as how we do have some activity going in Newtel, and we'll let you know tomorrow.
Yeah, very much appreciated. We'll go on this. There might be other people out there. See you tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay, and we've got White Shadow is about 120 miles south of you at the moment, so he is making progress up there, southeast of you actually. He's at 25, 28 south and 178 west, so making progress along with the boats that are going to be passing him, the ones that left on Saturday. Okay, is there anybody else for Gulf Harbour?
Oh, I need to say, just sorry, a little heads up from me, and I'm looking into the future a bit for the Newcal area or the route on the way to Newcal from where you are, and it does look like that depression is going to form up, but that's not until the weekend, this coming weekend, and we're going to get some fairly stiff winds up within about 2 or 3 degrees of New Caledonia, and I would say easily 30 knots, maybe gusts to 35. So I'm not sure what your ETA is going to be, but you may let us know that tomorrow if you work it out. And back to Trish.
Yeah, if you've got that rough idea of how long it will take you, I know you're a fairly big boat, Liam, if you could let us know now would be helpful. How many days are you planning on the passage over?
Patricia, we usually on the 5th day, the 5th day. Just listening to what David's saying, I think we'll be here for several more days. We're not in a hurry to go, so we might just sit back and see if we can get some really nice weather. But really appreciate your input, David and Patricia. Very, very helpful.
Okay, yeah, it just doesn't sound like if you're not desperate to get there, it's not the sort of weather to head off into, is it? All right, well, we'll keep that in mind and see what he comes up with. All right, I think that's about it. I'll just give a call to Panta Ray. If you're on frequency and want to try your radio out, that would be a good thing to do. Is there anybody wanting to make contact? Please call. No, nothing heard. All right, folks, we will head back to the fire, and we will catch you tomorrow, same time, same place. This is Gulf Harbour Radio, and we are clear.